Hey everyone, I hope everyone's having a good day. I wanted to talk about like some underrated game consoles. I know there are a lot of underrated game consoles out there that I want to talk about. As I mentioned in my last video, why I do YouTube videos. On this, this is one of the topics I've been wanting to talk about for a long, long time. So now that I finally have a chance to, I'm gonna talk about it. The first console I'm going to talk about is the Game Gear. I feel like the Game Gear is underrated. Everybody talks about the Game Boy. The Game Gear has some great features. I mean, the Game Boy may take less batteries, may take only four batteries, while the Game Gear takes six. I remember when I was 13 that year for Christmas, my dad got me a Sega Game Gear for Christmas with Sonic 2 in it. Now, to my surprise, I thought it was going to be like Sonic 3. I mean, sorry, I thought it was gonna be like Sonic 2 for the Genesis, but obviously it wasn't. Because you're going to play a Sonic, and they didn't have the spin dash, and Tails, you had to rescue Tails. So I thought it was going to be kind of reminiscent of that, which it wasn't. So I said, okay, well, let me go and let me go and get this, and it was actually pretty hard. It was really hard and stuff like that. I didn't get Sonic Chaos, but I did get Sonic Triple Trouble. By the way, in my opinion, I feel that's an underrated game that a lot of people, and it's underappreciated in my opinion. But yeah, the Game Gear has some great features. Back then, when you had analog, you were able to hook up a TV tuner to it since it had color already, and it had like a LED screen, LCD screen, whatever it's called. You can actually go out there and you can actually hook up the TV tuner to the Game Gear, and you can actually watch TV to it. That was a cool feature. The Game Boy didn't have that. The Game Boy didn't have that at its time. Also, too, um, you can look. You don't even need no lights on. You could go in the deep, deep dark, and you could play the Game Gear. The Game Boy, however, you have to have lights because they have no LED screen. All they have is the green and black screen. You can't really see it. But yeah, I feel like this is underrated. Also, too, how many of you know the Model 2 Genesis AC adapter? You can use that as as a plug for the as an adapter for the Game Gear. I found that out when I had my Model 2 Genesis, that I hooked it up to the Game Gear and it actually worked. I was like, wow. But the only thing is that the batteries drain way too fast since it takes six batteries. But like I said before, I mean that's an underrated game console, even though it's handheld. Another one that's underrated, I feel I also have is the Neo Geo Pocket Color. I feel like that handheld is underrated. That's also color as well too. And the that one thing about that one is that the only problem is that it takes some type of round batteries and stuff like that. So if it runs out, it's just gonna let you know in the beginning. But they have some awesome games. I have Sonic Pocket Adventure. I have some tennis game. I have what's that? Metal Slug Mission 2. I have Capcom versus SNK. I think it's card battles or whatever. I have the SNK and it kind of reminiscent of Pokemon, but except they're using Pokemon. And well, it's actually Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh put together, but except it's Capcom and SNK characters. If you're playing on I believe it's on the Capcom version, you have to. I think you have to compete against SNK, and SNK you have to compete against Capcom. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I forgot what the games I have. Puzzle Link 2. That's an awesome game, kind of like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh mixed in with like one of those puzzle games. So that's pretty awesome. I forgot what other games. I think that's the only. Oh yeah, I have like I said, I have Sonic Pocket Adventure, another underrated Sonic title that a lot of people don't know about. And I think that might be it. I think I might have more games, but I forgot what I have. So that might be it. I remember I got a package deal with the Neo Geo Pocket Color, and you get like 7 or 8 games. But I forgot what games I actually got for it. The rest of it. Let's see what else did I. Yeah, but that game console is underrated. That also has a Mega Man fighting game, except they can't call it Mega Man. They have to call it Rock Man, because that's his the Japanese name. So they have to call him Rockman Battle and Fighters. And they have a Pac-Man game on there too, which is actually pretty cool, reminiscent of the old school Pac-Man. And they have Capcom versus SNK Fight of the Millennium. They have Gals Fighters, and they have other games. You know, the console is, like I said, underrated. Another console, going back to Sega, happens to be the Sega CD, in my opinion. Even though Sega made a bad choice and a flop with the add-ons. I think personally, between the 32X and the Sega CD is more underrated because it had more better games. It's just that, well, the only differences between the two is that it had 32, that it didn't have 32-bit, and the unfortunately the FMV wasn't as clear. It was like so blurry. Like, you take the Terminator for that game, which is the best version out of all the other versions of the other consoles, and the FMV is like so blurry, you know. But yeah, I feel like that well, add-on slash console is like so underrated. Um, Also, what other ones I feel that's underrated? The GameCube is also underrated as well too. I feel like that console is underrated because, well, first of all, I mean, it still had games that adults can play, kids can play, until they got to the Wii, and that's when, and a lot of people and it gets a lot of hate because I, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but I feel like that does get a lot of hate, and the console is actually awesome. I mean, it comes in like small mini discs, and that's actually the first time that that Nintendo decided to do that. Nintendo actually did discs instead of cartridges, because they remember the N64 had cartridges, so they started to get into the discs, but they had the mini discs, and it was pretty unique for its time, you know. And it had some good games on there, like Sonic Heroes, Super Smash Bros. Melee. I think I may have played that one time. Super Mario Kart Double Dash. I think I played that one time too, I believe, or I saw somebody play it. I also had Def Jam Fight for New York on there. I forgot one of the games that I had. I had a couple of them, but I don't remember what I had. But I had some good games. If I'm able to get a Wii U, I believe the Wii U is backwards compatible with the GameCube. I'll get a GameCube controller, and I'll also get Soul Calibur 2, because I want to play as Link in that. And I also want to play Super Smash Bros. Melee. Excuse me. And what other fighting games? Now, I know it's backwards compatible with the Wii, so I want to get Wii Sports so I can keep up with my diet and exercise plan with that, and I can also get a workout while playing video games while having fun. So I kill three birds with one stone. And also too, I might get Brawl for it, but I definitely know I want to get Tatsunoko versus Capcom if I do get a Wii U, which I'm supposed to be getting soon. Tatsunoko versus Capcom. I definitely want to get that and play that because that game looks awesome. So those are the game. Those are the reasons why I want to get a Wii U, so I can have all three game consoles. And I know I'm definitely getting Super Smash Bros. 4, so that's pretty awesome. So I really can't complain about that. Yeah, but anyway, the GameCube is underrated. Like a lot of people bash the GameCube. I don't know why, but that's an underrated console. The next up is one that I feel that's going to be underrated is the Panasonic 3DO. The Panasonic 3DO is actually not a bad game console. I had it for like 4 years now. I mean, I don't play it as much as I played the other consoles back in the days, because sometimes I may get lazy or I may have other things to do. But I still actually play. I still actually play the 3DO. I have Road Rash, which is one of the best games on there. Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Samurai Showdown. The only thing is, I need to find an arcade controller, arcade stick, arcade control, whatever it is for the 3DO, so I can play those fighting games. But those fighting games are awesome, though. I also have Need for Speed. I feel like it doesn't go fast, but it's still good. I have Captain Quasar, Gex. What else do I have? Oh yeah, I have Wolfenstein 3D. Awesome game. Awesome game. Awesome music. I have Shockwave. Yeah, I have both Shockwave games. Those games are hard. I haven't even gotten off the first board yet. I have another space shooter. I forgot what it's called. Some people say that it sucks, but I like it. I pretty much like it. I have another game called Crash and Burn. Awesome music. Awesome game. I have John Madden Football. That's a pretty good game. It's hard though. I also have, what other game do I have on that game console? Slam and Jam. That game is hard too. I mean, I thought it was gonna be like NBA Jam, but it's hard. I also have Demolition Man. That's like a prehistoric first person shooter game, and it's hard to like, push the thing. If I had an analog stick, it would be even better and stuff like that. That's why I want to find an arcade controller for the 3DO so I can also play games like that. I have other games for it that's actually pretty fun. I only look for the best. I'm not looking for games like Plumbers Don't Wear Ties or Way of the Warrior, stuff like that. I might think about getting Star Wars, but I'm definitely not getting games like Doom because I heard that sucked, and games like Primal Rage because I heard that sucks too. But I'll stick with Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, and I'll also stick with Samurai Showdown because those games are awesome for that game console. And the controller, I feel that the controller is very unique for its time. I feel like it's a combination of the Sega Genesis controller and the Super NES controller put together, because you have ABXY, LR, pause select, and the unique thing is they have a control port on the controller which you could hook up eight. If it's an 8-player game, you could hook up, you could link it together, chain link it together. And the thing I like is that it has a dial on it, a volume dial, and you could turn down your television and you could hear the game through your controller. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty unique for its time. I mean, a lot of people. I mean, yeah, sure they flopped with the price and everything else, but it was still an awesome game. Yes, I'm gonna be on here with more. Tune in for part 2. Peace.